one song was messing with my brain.
I'm sure those in your comment section might be able to bring out things which they think supposedly might be going wrong.
But let's talk about this kind of broken heart.
Okay.
Cause trauma.
I think being in Ghana, being in the world, especially in recent times, it's a straightforward yes. Depression is one of the major causes of death in the world.
Really?
Yes. I think it's second or third to accidents. Depression causes a lot of death.
Yes, when Blacko said sad boys don't food, I felt it in my heart.
Why wouldn't you feel it?
What's up, friends? Hi, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of your favorite podcast, the Take I'm So podcast. Yes, I'm back. I'm back on my seat. And today, we're going to have interesting conversations because we have a medical doctor here. So I'm sure you know where we are moving towards. This topic we are going to discuss is a very crucial topic. I'm sure you've experienced it before. I have experienced it before. And we are talking about dealing with trauma. There has been a point in your life where you had to deal with this based on past experiences or based on what someone did to you or based on the situation you found yourself. Yeah. So we're going to have a discussion on that. And we have Dr. Martin Botchwey in the studio. Hi, Doc.
Hi, Rabna.
Welcome to the Take On So podcast.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm
so glad
grateful
to be here.
that you are here.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So let's just delve into the conversation.
All right.
Trauma or... let me say trauma, depression, anxiety, those topics are mostly not discussed in our setting.
Exactly.
Because we don't really put a lot of premium on it or we don't see the need to discuss these things. But today we are talking about dealing with trauma. What at all is trauma?
All right. Thank you so much for having me on your program, and I'm very happy to be here.
Okay.
I mean, I'm really excited. The range of topics you are able to bring up on this podcast.
Thank you.
And being able to explore even areas which are less dealt with, especially in our part of our world, as you rightly mentioned.
Yeah.
Trauma is generally any happening or event in the life of a person that has the potential of affecting them negatively in terms of their psychological life, their physical well-being, as well as their social well-being as well. And it can range from the loss of a dear one, not passing your exams, sometimes issues with relationships and all that. Yeah. And especially in Ghana, it's quite difficult to navigate your way through these things because they are less explored. And you have to just be hitting your head around to see how you are able to cope with things. So I'm glad to be here. And I believe we are going to have a very interesting conversation.
Yeah. So you talked about probably losing a loved one, reasons why someone can go through trauma. But what are the signs and symptoms that shows that this person is experiencing a traumatic event?
So generally, you will not be yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, we have this typical person, the jovial type, going to lectures, coming back, going to work, coming back, and then boom, something happens.
Like
and
boom.
They are not themselves again.
Yeah.
This guy likes to eat about 3 times a day, and he's not eating even once in a day. This guy likes to play football, perhaps watch football matches, and they are not doing it as they are supposed to do. They are feeling sad all day. Sometimes they might be crying, having difficulty sleeping, and all that. And I think all these things point to the fact that something might be wrong. And it's affecting especially the mental health of the person, and they need to seek help.
I think I remember when I was it second year?
Okay.
Modesta can remember. Shout out to Modesta.
Okay.
I remember those times when we were going for classes, and it will get to a point. My class is at 4.
Okay.
And I'm thinking that the class is at 5, or probably the class is at 2. I'm thinking the class is at 4. So by the time I'm calling my friends, hey, it's 4. Are we not going? They are like, we are done with the class.
They
We
are
thought
done,
you were
like,
not
seriously.
coming. And I didn't know what was wrong with me.
You forgot the time to go for the classes.
Exactly. And it wasn't the first time that thing had happened. It was happening continuously.
I'm very sure that time something might have been going on at the time. If we had really explored, we would have found out. Yeah, I'm
Someone's
very
tongue
sure.
was messing with my brain.
I'm sure those in your comment section might be able to bring out things which they think supposedly might be going wrong.
But let's talk about this kind of broken heart
Okay.
cause trauma.
I think being in Ghana,
Mm.
being in the world, especially in recent times, it's a straightforward yes. Yes, it's a straightforward yes. Yeah, just recently, there was one guy that's had issues in relationships in the lines of broken hearts, and then he took an overdose of a drug which he was not supposed to take.
Yeah.
He was admitted to the ICU for some time,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, he lost his life.
Oh my
Yes,
god.
and just recently, a work colleague also lost his life very badly through the same process. He also was involved in a relationship, had a seed with a lady. They took a scan. They said it was a twin gestation. I mean, they had 2 babies in the mother's womb.
Okay.
And then there are issues, and then the lady decides to abort the babies without the guy's knowledge,
Oh my god.
and then goes further ahead to marry another guy, and
Eh.
it left the guy brokenhearted.
Emmanuel.
So brokenhearted. So brokenhearted.
Okay.
And in the end, the guy resorted to certain lifestyles which wasn't typical of him. I mean, he was abusing substances and all that he was not supposed to do, and affected his work abysmally. Eventually, just recently, they found him lying dead on his bed.
So this means we can say that trauma can cause death.
It can cause, if remedy is not sought as soon as possible, and then it escalates, it can lead to stuff which we wouldn't even want to mention.
Wow. Then it means there is a need for us to seek
There's
help when
great
we are
need.
going through
A great need.
trauma. So how important is seeking help? And if I'm saying seeking help, where can we find help if you are going through trauma?
Thank you very much for this question, and I'm glad you've brought this one up as well. Because typically in Ghana, if anyone seeks help, the person is seen as a villain, someone who is a pharaoh, just to put it.
Oh, you are weak.
Exactly, somebody who is weak. Thank you. I mean, somebody goes to the psychiatry unit and it's like, hey, it is what is happening with this person?
Exactly.
Do you understand?
That's
And
true.
all because of that, it's more like whatever people are going through, they try to navigate through by themselves and then try to come out by themselves. But sometimes we need help, because sometimes going for the help is actually showing that you are strong. Yeah, because it takes a strong man to realize that I need help and then be able to go for help.
That's true.
And I encourage as many people as are watching me that whatever you are going through, I mean, I'm not saying that maybe you lost your 2 CDs and you are going to seek for help. Anything that you see is weighing you down to the extent that you feel, this one, I need someone to help me.
Yeah.
Have that confidence, that boldness to be able to seek for help as soon as possible. Because mostly when help comes, it helps to abate a lot of things that might have brought issues to the individual. In Ghana, being part of the healthcare system, I see that right now a lot of emphasis is being placed on mental health, and people have access to mental health nurses, psychiatry nurses, and then doctors who are being trained in those regards to be able to help people. So I encourage everyone. It's not only malaria and then typhoid that you take to the hospital.
Yeah.
If you are going through any mental health issue, feel free to walk to the hospital. Talk to the doctor about it. I don't feel myself lately. I mean, things are going on. I need to speak to someone. I'm sure even if... All right, I want to...
So you can come to OPD and go to the doctor and tell the doctor that
Why not?
I'm not feeling good.
Why not?
There's this perception that if I have malaria, if my head is aching me, that's when I go to the hospital to seek help. But if my head, I'm not really feeling great, I'm not feeling myself, do I have to go to OPD and go to the doctor for help?
It might look quite strange.
Yes.
But looking at it from the broader view, depression
Mm-hmm.
is one of the major causes of death in the world.
Really?
Yes. I think it's second or third to accidents. Depression causes a lot of death. So if malaria is not killing people as much as that, if let's say HIV and the others, hypertension are not killing as that much, then depression is doing it. Then people need to seek remedy for it.
Then why do you think people are not reaching out, seeking for help when they go through these things?
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So somebody comes and it's like, oh, we are even coming from the psychiatry units. It's a whole thing altogether.
Mhm.
Hey, what did you go and do there? Do you get it?
That's true.
But people are there trained to help us.
Mm.
And in as much as somebody with hypertension is not scared or is not shy to take their card and go to the doctor, give me a medication that will bring my blood pressure down. The same way, if somebody is depressed, their moods are down, doctor, talk to me, help me. Doctor, is there a medication that can help me so that my mood can come up? But for all you know, these depressive episodes and all that can eventually lead to suicidal ideations. And some people might end up executing these ideas. And in the end, we see them in the news, and then we see them on our WhatsApp platforms and all that. We are like, oh, but is that we were the same people who were impeding them from seeking for help.
Exactly.
So it's very necessary that people do seek for help. In as much as if they have any normal sickness, they will go for help. I think that we should encourage people to seek for help in terms of mental health, if they are having any issues as well.
Okay. But I heard that when you're going through a traumatic stage,
Okay.
you can listen to music, you
Okay.
can read books,
Okay.
or do something that you love
Okay.
to help you in bringing you back to yourself. How true is that?
I think it's true. There are lots of people who might have gone through what you are going through already. And some people during those times wrote music that maybe was their passion.
Yeah.
So you just listen to the music like I really relate.
Yes.
And they tell you maybe how they were able to overcome it.
Yes, when Blacko said sad boys don't food, I felt it in my heart.
Why wouldn't you feel it? So you see, exactly the point. You see, people might have gone through things, and musicians, and I think these people, artists and all those people, they have that creativity to be able to really come down to your level.
Yeah.
And sometimes after listening to the music, watching the videos and all, like, you're like, oh, I'm really back to myself.
That's true.
And it really helps a lot. So sometimes it's even a matter of reading some books and all that. Religious people might be reading Bible stories and all that, and it might help them. The point is, there are lots of avenues that people can explore in order to overcome any traumatic experience that they are going through. And the challenge is to encourage everyone to be able to make good use of that.
I'm really enlightened by this conversation that we've had, because then it means that there has been points in my life where I've been through a traumatic stage before. Then I didn't even realize that I was going through it based on the explanation that you are giving.
Yes.
So I want you to look into the camera and talk to our audience and let them know that there is a need to embrace their mental health. There's a need to speak out or seek help when you are going through a traumatic phase.
All right. So whoever is looking at me, wherever you are, I don't know the stage of life in which you are. I don't know whether life is throwing at you the diamonds or life is throwing at you the stones. But just know that everything that happens is a phase. It's a phase. And there are a lot of support groups around to help you to navigate your way through whatever you are going. As far as you are willing, there's a way out. There are a lot of groups outside there. There are a lot of doctors and nurses. There are people who might even have gone through worse things than the one that you are going through.
Yeah.
And eventually they have sailed through and they are out there telling their stories. So it means that you can also seek help and then get help. And then you also become part of those who are telling their stories. So I encourage everyone to seek help, especially in terms of mental well-being.
Yeah.
To be able to, because if you don't have the good mind, the mind is kind of the machine that is controlling everything. If you have a sound mind, you have the liberty to go around your work, the liberty to go through your academics and everything. In KNUST,
Yeah.
they have peer counselors.
Yes.
They
yes.
have counselors at the various faculties
Colleges
and
and-
colleges,
Yeah.
where students can assess and then go through together. People are able to put themselves in your shoes
Yeah.
because they've been there. And trust me, when you go there, you get help. And eventually you come out. And then when you come out, your story will be a testimony to all of us.
Yeah.
And help us.
That's true.
The battle for mental well-being is not only your fight. It's all of us that are fighting it. So we all come together and fight against it together.
Whew.
All right.
That's
Thank
a
you.
lot of information right there. So if you want to reach out to you, how can we reach out to you?
Oh, okay, so currently I'm working at the Heart Adventist Hospital at
Okay.
Ahensai.
Okay.
But people can have access to mental health wherever, any health facility in which they find themselves.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, most doctors are open, nurses are open, everyone is open because we are there to help people restore their health. And health is not only the physical that we see, it's also part of the mental well-being. So you can get me at that facility or go to any facility where, especially at Confanoche, I mean, they have a nice psychiatry unit where they have specialists around who can sort people out in whatever they are going to, be it bipolar disorders, be it anxiety disorders, be it psychotic disorders and all that. We don't want to see people ending up in the streets. I mean, we don't want to see people ending interesting careers, something that is going to impact the country, the world positively. We want everyone to get there, and we are there to help. Every doctor is open to people, to see people, to help people to navigate their way through whatever they are going through.
Wow. That's a lot of nuggets of wisdom right there. I'm so grateful for having you, Doc. So grateful that you came to share your insights with us.
I'm glad you've had me here as well.
Okay. So, guys, I know you've enjoyed this episode because I myself have enjoyed it and I've listened to a lot of information from Dr. Martin Botchwey. And it's been inspiring, and I can't even find the words to say it. So if you are going through the diamonds or the stones, take them so it will be okay. Thank you. So this is where we end today's episode of the Take 'em So podcast. Please listen to us on all podcast platforms, and you can follow us on social media, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram at takeamso_podcast. I want to say a big shout out to Richie. Big shout outs to Dennis for helping us with production. We love you so much. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.
Bye.